Hey everybody, and thanks for listening to 15 Minutes With. I'm glad you can join me. Many listeners have contacted me and asked me what caused some of those that we interviewed to commit their crimes and what happened during those crimes. In this episode, I speak with Stephen Hayes and he tells me what happened to cause the Cheshire home invasion and what happened during the actual commission of the crime. He explains how Josh Komisarjevsky and he came up with the idea of doing a home invasion while they were roommates in a halfway house in Hartford, Connecticut. He also explains to me details that were not previously released about the crime. This is the final part of a 4-part series which goes into the planning and the commission of the crime. Some of the details are disturbing and may not be suitable for some individuals, so please use caution when reviewing them. Discretion is advised. If you like this show and would like to keep it going and would like to see it get better, please donate to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. Again, that is paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. Every little bit helps. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, or if there's somebody you might want me to try and interview, please email me at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Again, that is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Or you can snail mail us at P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut 06516. This information is being dictated to me by Stephen Hayes, who was one of the participants in the crime. Joshua Komisarjevsky was contacted but refused to participate as he's currently appealing his sentence. This is the last episode of this series.
SCI Green. This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2. If you would like, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Okay.
Where were we?
We were talking about when you had gone into the house and you had just strangled Mrs. Pettit.
Okay. Are we live?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so when I'll start back a little bit further. When I had come back, she got out of the car first, went around the side of the house. It took me a few seconds to get out. I got there, I couldn't get in, even though I had the key. It wasn't my house, so I kind of forgot that I had the key. Once we got in, Josh had to come down, unlock the door. He unlocked the door, and everything worked fine after that. I walked in, we secured Mrs. Pettit. We went into the living room. He had the bat and the X-Acto knife, and that's when he told me that the kids were dead. He had to kill them because of some DNA thing, and that Dr. Pettit was also dead. And I had to kill Mrs. Pettit. So I started pacing back and forth. I was flipping out because all night I had treated them with as much dignity as I could. And now that we had the money, it was like, nobody's supposed to get hurt here. And my head was just spinning. So when I looked out the window and I saw a cop car, I just lost it. I snapped. I figured that, she turned me in too, and here I am struggling to save her life. So I did. I manually strangled her, and, there was sexual intercourse. Right. It wasn't for the purpose of pleasure. It was more like it was a rage thing. And it only happened really, really quickly. Once I realized what I was doing, I stopped. Because I was horrified with myself. And then I remembered the cop. She was still alive and on the couch. I went out into the garage, and I was looking out the window. And I don't remember exactly how long I was there, but I didn't see any cop car.
Right.
When I came back in, she was on the floor with a ligature around her neck. And I hear Josh running up the cellar stairs yelling, Pettit escaped, Pettit escaped. And I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, what do you mean he escaped? He just told me he's dead. And I'm looking out the back.
Right.
I see him hopping up the Bilco doors. Josh grabbed the 2 containers of gasoline. He ran upstairs, and I took one, and I poured it downstairs. And I remember thinking, it's like, none of this is making sense. How is he still alive when he just told me he's dead?
Right.
And, then he comes downstairs, and we're in the den just outside the sunroom, and he's got a book of matches. And it took him 3 strikes, to get it. The first match didn't work, the second match didn't work, and finally the third one worked. He launched it into the dining room, and we ran out. I think we ran out without the money because one of us ended up running back in. I'm not sure if it was him or me. I've been trying to remember that. But he ended up getting in the driver's seat. We backed out. We backed right into a police car. We drove forward, and he ran straight into the police car.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
So were the police cars in the driveway? Is that where you got caught, or?
No. When we got in the car and he backed out the driveway, a cop came sliding in to try and block the way. Josh backed into him, and I guess rear quarter, front quarter, spun him out. And when he went down the street, just past, I forget the name of the street that went around the neighborhood. That's where the cars were parked, nose to nose, I think. And Josh went right in between them and split them apart. And I wasn't seat belted in, so I ended up on the floor. I had banged my head, and I don't remember even getting out of the car. Apparently, I still had the gun on me.
Right.
I'm really surprised they didn't shoot me. But I know a lot of people dumped on the police for what they did and sending away SWAT and HRT. But people have to understand that, when things were reported to them, there was confusion at the bank as to whether this was real.
Right.
Because the bank also knew about the divorce. And when me and her showed up and she got out of the car, it didn't look like a hostage situation. And I was really upset that stuff never got into evidence because, the Cheshire police hid that. They were embarrassed by how they responded. But that was, I guess, like my vindication that, I did treat her right all night. People they're quick to say that all night it was torture and torment. And there's no question that all night it was uncomfortable. Like I said, it was a kidnapping. But there's no way she would have acted like she did if I was torturing her and the kids all night long.
Right.
The only reason she acted like that was because I was really good to her. And, I was so horrified when I found out that the kids were actually alive that's when I went on a suicide mission. I wouldn't help out my defense team. I wouldn't give them evidence. I tried
This
to
is a
commit
call from
suicide.
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Because, I think back on that, and I know that if I had known them kids were alive, I would have ran through that gas. I mean, most likely I probably would have died too. But I never would have allowed that to happen. I mean, I'm horrified even to this day about what happened. For a long time I had nightmares about it.
When you got brought down to the police department, did they separate you and Josh right off the bat, or?
Yeah, immediately.
Okay, so you didn't say anything when you found out that the kids had been alive. You weren't with him at that point.
Oh no, I didn't even know that they were alive until later that night when they brought us to Yukon to do samples. That's when the officer, the detective, told me that the kids were alive. I mean, were dead. At that point, they had told me that everybody was still alive. And that nobody had died, and just to come clean and to talk about it. But I didn't talk about anything because I was still trying to put things together.
Right.
Well, I spoke to the cop for like a minute, and then I said I want a lawyer, and threw me a phone book and put me back in the cell. Josh gave a 17-page statement and I think a 45-minute videotape. But he put everything on me. And that's why they came at me first, because they thought I was the ringleader.
Right.
The media was really pervasive about, who was the ringleader, who was the leader. So because they thought it was me, that's why they made their announcement that I'm going first and it was me. But then once they started doing their investigation, they realized that his statement was all lies. He lied about absolutely everything.
Now, he's trying to get out now through an appeal. Do you know what the grounds for the appeal are? I mean,
last time I talked to my attorney, they're trying to raise a Brady issue because the tapes weren't raised. The Cheshire police had hidden that one tape that talked about that they didn't think there was a kidnapping. That's why they sent the hostage people away.
Mm-hmm.
And I said they never should have covered that up because it really wasn't their fault.
Right.
Like when you look at how that happened, I believe that's one of the issues was a Brady issue. He's trying to challenge the veracity of the DNA evidence, even though there's no challenge there whatsoever. I mean, he had sex with that girl. And that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought that the sex occurred when I went to the bank.
Right.
And I don't know whether it did. I believe there might have been something going on. But the time that when I came back from the gas station, that's when I noticed that she had different clothes. And when I said something to him, he said that it was because she wet herself and he allowed her to take a shower and change. And I kept going in and looking at her.
I have a question for you. Somebody brought up to me today, as a matter of fact. Are you aware of any pictures that were taken of any of the girls' genital areas or anything?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, well first I just want to finish because, like I said,
Okay.
I checked in when I was making my rounds, I would check on Mrs. Pettit and Haley, but I'd always walk in there and look.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he heard me coming, but she was always sitting there and she was always calm.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back and she was still calm, that's why I didn't really think anything happened.
Right.
But yes, there were pictures taken. They were on his cell phone. They were never sent to me. They were never shown to me. And evidence actually showed that they were taken and never opened. And the time they were taken, it was either when I went to the bank or I went to the gas station.
Right, but what you're saying is that they were taken, but they were taken by Josh.
By Josh on his phone, and the times were stamped when I was out of there, and the files shown that they were never opened. I remember my attorneys made a big deal about that because I never even knew them pictures existed. He said that it was to blackmail Dr. Pettit, which is BS, because they thought they were all of Michaela, of her vagina. But there was actually pictures of Haley as well, her vagina.
Right.
I said, you can't blackmail somebody with a picture like that because you don't know whose it is.
Mm-hmm.
Those were for his. So, I mean, everything he did was a lie.
Right.
Like I said, that's why I hate him. Because, he ruined my life as well. I never should have signed on to that. It was stupid, but I was really screwed up and desperate. Mm-hmm. I wasn't working my program. I had a lot of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And now that I've been identified as transgender, more people that understand the situation understand why I really was screwed up.
Right. Well, I mean, the other thing is, too, I had asked you a while back if you had a chance to ask Josh questions, what you would ask him. So, again, I want to, go over that, too. If you had a chance to talk to Josh and say, hey, what would you ask him about that night?
I don't think I would ask him anything.
Okay.
Because I would ask him why he lied to me, but I already know why he lied, because he knew I wouldn't go with it.
Right.
I can ask him why he did it, but I already know why he did it, because he's psychotic.
Right.
He had, a rough childhood, too, growing up, but that doesn't excuse that behavior.
Right.
There's no question that I would ask him, because, one, the questions that I would ask, I know the answer to. Mm-hmm. Two, I don't believe he would even tell me the truth, because he's not now. And he wants to put this family through this all over again for no other purpose, but he will not admit what he did.
Right. That's the other thing, too. I know that you dropped all your appeals, and he, in turn, is going through the appeals, and you brought that up before, that the family, should not be going through this again.
And the thing is, I don't know if people remember during my trial with Dr. Eric Goldsmith, but there was not guilty by reasonable insanity, like the temporary insanity based on extreme emotional distress. Mm-hmm. And the doctor said there was no question I had the second prong, that the situation itself was stressful. Mm-hmm. But in their mind, I didn't have the first one, and that's because they didn't know about gender dysphoria.
Right.
Now that they know about it, and I can actually back it all the way up to where I was 16, I have a defense for extreme emotional defense. Mm-hmm. And even though I actually could have a chance at getting off, I wouldn't do it. because I'm still guilty. I didn't kill them kids, and I didn't, intend on anybody dying like that. But there's no question it would not have happened if I wasn't there. So, I mean, I have to own this. And even if I do have a chance at getting out, I can't roll with that because, I would just never feel right.
Right. We're at 14 minutes right now, but I want you to say something. If you had a chance to talk to Josh about his appeal, what would you tell him?
Stop doing this to the family. Just stop and do your time, and stop telling people here in Pennsylvania that you're some type of contract Republic or Democratic hitman working for, breaking into the governor's manager. Because, I mean, he's been lying to everybody. I have people that come here. Just stop lying and do your time. And stop,
You have 1 minute left.
Stop hurting these people, because it shouldn't happen. And do something to try and help people instead.
All right, Steve. Obviously, we're going to be ending right now. I want to thank you for, telling me everything that happened, and basically letting people know what happened, that day and leading up to it.
And if anybody has any questions, just give them to Mr. Tomaso. I'll answer them honestly. And if you need proof, I can get verification from my defense team because, I only want to help people now. I can't make up for what I did, but maybe I can stop something from happening.
And that's the purpose why we're doing this, podcast, is to try to help people not wind up in prison.
Okay. All right, Joe.
All right, thanks. All right, bye-bye.